You guys hear that? What's that sound? Oh, it's rain. It's raining on the West Coast. What a surprise. Yeah, another rainy day on the West Coast, and it just happens to be the only day that I get this brand new Lexus IS300. And you know, even though the automotive landscape is just peppered with crossovers and SUVs, there's just something about driving a car. It's just not the same when you're driving an SUV. And one of my favorite categories of cars are the premium sport compact. You know, the BMW 3 Series, the Audi A4s, and this Lexus IS300. So for 2021, this new IS is not totally new, but there are some pretty big noticeable differences. So let's start on the outside, even though we're going to be on the inside staying dry. Hopefully it'll clear up and we'll get a few shots for you from the outside, but if we don't, I'll still have some images to show you. So what's new with this new IS? Basically the entire front end is new now. There are two new spindle grills. They're larger. You have a new headlight assembly with the built-in daytime running light. Standard are 18-inch wheels. This is the IS300 with the F Sport Series 3 package, and that comes with 19-inch black wheels. I really do like that. Black wheels contrasting with this red vehicle. And onto the side, you can see there are larger wheel flares now, and that back area, it just looks, to me, it looks like it's like a cat, just hunched and just ready to pounce, even when it's parked. So it gives it some dynamic expression. The back is nice and tidy, and one thing that definitely does get looks is the new light bar that goes straight across. It's got a blade style design to it. Overall, the new IS styling just makes it look like it's ready for business. It's athletic, it looks lower, and yeah, it's just ready to go. Okay, let's talk about the inside, but let's start it up because it's starting to fog up in here. It's getting a little hot. This is really cool. Lots of things going on when you start the car, but your driver display is kind of an analog digital display. It is fully digital. However, there is, when you actually press the information or your menu button on the steering wheel, the actual gauge actually physically moves over to the side. And when you push that back, it's really, really cool. I've never ever seen that before. I think it was on the previous ones, but this is a Lexus interior. What can you say about Lexus interiors? They're so nicely put together. The fit and finish is absolutely perfect. You have a leather wrapped steering wheel with open pore wood here. You have wood on the door panels. You have beautiful leather seats. This also comes with a power sunroof. In the center, standard is an 8-inch screen on the IS300. On the 350 all-wheel drive that we have right here, this has a 10.3-inch screen. Comes standard with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. If we put it into reverse, you can see you do have a rear view camera. However, there is no 360 camera on this particular model. You can control the Lexus system by the trackpad by your right hand. So you have 3 buttons, very easy to use. You have your map, your menu, a return button, and you just navigate. This has haptic feedback to it. You can feel it, you can kind of hear it, listen. Okay, so just a trackpad. Now, some people have mentioned they don't really like the system. They don't find it very intuitive. I don't find that, but if you don't like the system, no worries. You can still actually just touch the screen. It works as a touch screen as well. So, you know, either way. This one's equipped with heated and ventilated seats. For the heating controls, not a huge fan of the slide for the temperature control. It works fine. I just find that it's just easier with a dial, but it looks good anyways. And the entire climate system is operated by buttons, so you don't have to go through menus, which is a big thumbs up for me. I wish there was a cubby area in the front here or so that you could put your phone, as the only place else to put your phone is either in the middle console or in the cup holder. Even though this rides on the same platform as the current IS, they still have made some improvements to the chassis. First of all, they've stiffened it up, they've used lightened coil springs and lightened the suspension, and they use lightweight hub bolts, which is kind of like from the LFA supercar that they have. Power plants are carried over from the current model IS, so you have 3 variants. You have the IS300 rear-wheel drive that comes with a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine putting out 241 horsepower, and that's matched to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Then you get up to the IS300 all-wheel drive, and that comes with a 260 horsepower V6. And then you go up to the IS350 all-wheel drive that we have right now, and that has the V6 with 311 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. And it's a decent amount of torque for sure. All right, I'm not gonna lie, if you are a little confused on what model and what trim you can get on the IS, you're not alone. There are a lot of models. There's the IS300, the 350, all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, F-Sport, F-Sport 2, F-Sport 3, then you have a premium package, then a luxury package, an ultra luxury package, which is not available on the F-Sport package. Oh, it's kind of confusing, but once you get the hang of it, if you just really look at the big picture, you will get it. So anyways, the luxury and the ultra luxury package is not available on the F-Sport. Just think of F-Sport as sport. But one thing that I wish you could get on the F-Sport that you can get on the lower trims or the other trims with a luxury package is you can't get the 360 camera on the F-Sport that we have right now, which is kind of odd. To me, I just find that, this seems like the top dog, the IS350 all-wheel drive F-Sport 3, and you should have all the bells and whistles, but they are trying to get the cost down to keep it under $60,000, which this does come in under 60 grand. We'll go over the price in just a second. Speaking of sport, the IS is quite sporty to drive. You do have different drive modes here. We can go our regular, which normal, if you just hit the button, it just defaults to normal. I like that. That's easy to do. You don't have to look. So if you turn it, we can go sport, sport plus, and I like how the gauge turns white and red. It's very reminiscent of the LC500, and acceleration is decent on it. I do like the sound. When you're over like 4,000 RPM, you're right in that nice meaty range. You do have paddle shifters if you do want to shift your own gears. It's a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, if you go for the F-Sport that we have here, which is the number 3, F-Sport 3, that comes with adaptive suspension. So we are in Sport Plus. It is a little bit stiffer. It's not jarring by any means, though. Some people might think that it's a little bit even soft for Sport Plus. We're at a light. I have hold on, auto hold, so I've taken my foot off the brake. If you watch other everyday reviews with cars that have this, you know that I am a fan of the auto hold, and that is if your vehicle is equipped with an electronic parking brake, a lot of times that has the auto hold. This is all-wheel drive as well. You have a couple different terrain modes, I guess. There's a snow, and then you can also turn your traction control off. So if you want a little bit more spin, perhaps, if the snow mode just doesn't do it enough for you, you can turn that traction control off. Ride-wise, we're going over a lot of construction bumps here. It is handling the bumps very well, and this is a Lexus. Even though this is a sportier Lexus, it's very refined in here. It's quiet. First of all, it's very, very quiet. We have winter tires on here, which doesn't even help, and it's pouring rain, and the experience is still Lexus-like. Let's hear the motor a little bit more. I love when you hit the rev limiter, that white face for the gauge turns orange. It's pretty cool. Inputs are very predictable on this IS. As for steering road feel, I think I would still prefer my BMW 3 Series for road feel compared to this IS, but yeah, it's nothing really to complain about though. All IS come standard with the Lexus Safety System Plus 2.5. So That gives you your dynamic radar cruise control. Basically, at any speed, it'll work for you. Your lane tracing, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, plus it has enhanced pedestrian and bicycle detection as well. So that comes standard across the board. Here's a sample of the dynamic radar cruise control and with a lane tracing feature on. So it is minding the lane markings right now. What's incredible, actually, it is raining so hard and it's still working, which is quite amazing that it can actually even track the lines on the road. Unfortunately, we can't really test out how this IS350 F Sport really handles, let's say on some nice twisty roads or something like that, because the conditions today are horrendous, absolutely terrible. But what we can test, if you can hear, the water is pooling, and this all-wheel drive system is just being a champ. Like, I was going up a hill, I floored it, trying to get a lot of wheel spin, had a little bit, but then it just controlled it so well. We can try again here. No, this thing is, it's hooked up. And we are in Sport Plus mode right now as well. So I have to reiterate though, how quiet this experience is in here. You have the nice growl from the engine, which is nice, you can hear it, but it's just a really nice place to be inside in here right now when it's so gross outside. Now comes price. If you compare the IS to some of its German counterparts, like the 3 Series from BMW or the Audi A4, for instance, I think there's some fairly good value in the IS. Listen to the puddles that we're going through. The base IS300 F Sport, which comes with rear-wheel drive, that's the only one that you can get with rear-wheel drive, starts at $42,950. Then if you go into the IS300 with all-wheel drive, that starts at $43,400. Now remember, there are other packages like the premium package, luxury package, ultra luxury package, and then the F Sport 1 or 2 you can get on there as well. So that's going to raise the price up, but still, that is your base price. Then there's the IS350 all-wheel drive with the F Sport 2. That's $52,200. And if you go into the F Sport 3 that we have here on this IS350 all-wheel drive, that will run you $58,000. So under $60,000, like I mentioned earlier. So yeah, you do get a lot of value. There's a lot of standard features that come with an IS compared to some of the other competition. You know what's nice about this engine is it's naturally aspirated. No turbocharging, which is almost unusual these days. So there is no lag. It's very responsive, like I mentioned, up in the higher RPMs. And yeah, so is 311 horsepower enough power? Well, it's subjective, obviously. You can always have more power. Maybe they should make an F Sport 4 for 400 horsepower and maybe a drift mode. Anyways, just a wish list. This 6-speed, when you're in Sport Plus, it really does hold the gears a lot longer than I was expecting. You can go all the way to almost 7,000 RPM. The sweet spot of this engine really is about, I'd say, you know, anywhere between 4,000 and 6,000. This thing is just very responsive. It's right there. There's no lag whatsoever. And yeah, so keep it there. And that's where it sounds the best too. So I hope you enjoyed this short little review of the new IS from Lexus. Hopefully we'll get this back on a drier day and we'll do a little bit more spirited driving with it. So give it a thumbs up if you got anything from this video, and hit that subscribe button for more everyday reviews. See you in the next video. Cheers.